Hello, everybody. This is Dave, and this is Shoegaze Promotions. I'm here with Mike from Silk from Northern Ireland, Belfast. How's it going, Mike?
All good, man. I'm all good, yeah.
Really appreciate you coming on. Let's dive right into it. So, when and how did Silk form?
So Silk kind of formed like a bit by accident. So like, because I record demos and stuff for other bands that I was in before, and I just wanted to get better at learning how to mix and record and do all that kind of stuff. So I decided I was going to record like it before Christmas, like 2 years ago. I recorded like two songs, which turned out to be then Phase and But Then Yes. So the first two singles that kind of came out, and I recorded it and got it done and mixed it. And I was like, oh, that sounds quite good. And then I was like, oh, I'll just try and like throw some vocals on it just so that I have something to mix in. And because I'm not like a singer, and I was like kind of just put something on. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good. And then I just can't help myself, man. Then I just like the thing that's in me goes, oh, well, maybe we should put this out, and then maybe we should do the thing. So then I put a couple of singles out, and then because I do Gaze Fest over here as well, and like I wrote them a set essentially, and asked the guys I play in another band called Broncos. I asked those guys to play in Silk with me. I was like, we're just going to do one show. And then it went from one show to be like, oh, well, maybe we should do a show before Gaze Fest, so we're not just doing one. And then it went from a show at Gaze Fest, another show, and then I booked a tour, and then another tour, and then it's just kind of turned out to be a fucking band now, I guess. So it's just kind of like yeah, I was like, this is just going to be fun, and it's going to be like, it's not going to be a big deal. And then I just like can't help myself, man. I want to like go play shows, and I want to go on tour, and I want to put out records, and I want to make t-shirts and do the thing. So now I guess we're like, it's like a band or whatever, but like it's on the records, it's just me. Like I write and record and play everything. And then, like I say, I'm lucky enough to have the guys, bring it to life with me. Like Cameron's on guitar, Shane's on bass, and then Matt, who used to be in Virgins with me, he's on drums. So it's like, yeah, bunch of good dudes. Like me, Shane, and Cameron are in three bands together, so I think that kind of speaks volumes.
It's an addiction, man. That's what I tell people. It's like you start off for fun, and then you just like you fall like really truly fall in love with it, and then you can't stop. You're just you're hooked.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose there's worse things to be addicted to, but yeah, I'm slowly going deaf because of it all. But that's fine, it's okay.
As long as you can you hear it a little bit, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I can. It's funny. I can if we're mixing or something, I can tune into stuff. Like I'll be like, "Oh, that's not right." But like day to day, that kind of suffers a little. But it's fine. I just turn the amp up more if I need to hear more, so it's fine.
Hearing and ears are overrated.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So you guys dropped a new EP in May, Lux. How's the response been to it?
Yeah, it came out at the start of May there. Honestly, it's been a wee bit overwhelming. I kind of like had it recorded and like asked Richard from Blowtorch if he wanted to put it out. He'd put out other stuff for me, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, we'll do it." And then he kind of started once he heard kind of like proper mixes off it. He got really excited, and so I was like, "We're gonna put it out. We're gonna see, and we'll just see what happens." But I mean, like we're already over halfway through the pressing, and like there was like some like a lot of nice press, and it's getting lots of attention, and people are saying a lot of nice things. So it's been really kind of just way more than I expected. Like I kind of expected to have to go out and like really try and like sell people on it, but it's kind of taken on a bit of a life of its own and kind of found its audience, which is kind of like ideally what I had hoped would happen, like especially in the shoegaze stuff, because it definitely is the heavier end of things, as you know, like sometimes that's not for everybody, but it's kind of found the people who want that kind of thing. And so yeah, I mean it's just been incredible, man. Just kind of like seeing it, like because once you put it out, it kind of takes on a life of its own. Like it's not mine anymore; it's for the people, I guess. So like even like when we were out on tour, like having people come up and be like, I love this song and this song's great, and been really looking forward to hearing it live. And like live, it kind of has like it's a bit more of a push. Like there's just more energy to it. Like it's a bit more of like a I don't want to say like punk energy, but if it's just there's just more. It's like things are faster and it hits harder and stuff. And I like how it has that the juxtaposition between the two things. Like on record, it like it has that like wall of noise, but it's still kind of floaty. Whereas live, it's a wee bit more kind of like, we're here to take people's fucking heads off, essentially. Yeah.
Please, please take my ears and my head off. Like for me, the
Right.
heavier the better. And I mean, how I see it is like art, music, paintings, drawings, like everything is supposed to be shared with the world. That's how I see it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like that was kind of the you really hit the nail on the head there. That was like the impetus behind all this. Like I turned 40 like a year and a bit ago, and I was just like, well, why shouldn't I do this? Like okay, I might not be the best at mixing or recording or singing, but I have something to say, and I can write songs that I love and want people to hear. So the idea was just to like fill the time I have left with doing the things that I really, really love. And this is something that I really enjoy doing and feel passionate about. And it's great that people apparently feel feel the same about it. So it's just like for me, it's just all about like getting it out there, sharing the idea. And if people are there for it, that's great. And if they're not, I'll still keep doing it, because I just that like I said at the start, I just can't help myself but do the thing. As long as I keep writing songs and have something to say, I'll keep on putting shit out.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I tell people this all the time. Don't let haters stop you from doing what you love to do, whether it's music, whether it's skateboarding, whether it's, painting, drawing, sports, whatever it is.
Yeah. I always like go back to I talk about it all the time, but there's like this line in this Refused song and it says like not even failure, and it's like I would rather do it and fail and have done the thing than not have tried it all through like being crippled by like fear or just like inactivity. So like I'm always kind of it's weird, like I always think of that line, like if I'm like, oh should I, and it's just like, well, you should at least if you do it and it fails, you've tried, you've done it, and you can there's another swing of the bat. So
Right on, dude. That's incredible. So for Auralux, who did you guys record it with and how's the process?
so Oralux was just me, like in our practice, well, in the practice room that I kind of run and where we practice now, and I just recorded everything myself. So because I play everything on the record, so I play all the drums, like the drums are real, bass is real, all the guitars are real. There's no reamping, there's no digital amps. It's fucking a mic in front of an instrument. And like I'm not against digital; it has its place, but for me, like especially digital fuzz never sounds right. You need air moving in front of a microphone, and it just never captures it and like how it interacts with the tubes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would just like throw down a rough guitar track in the house and then go up and play drums to it. And like the drums that are on the record are all maybe like first, second, third time I ever played those songs on drums. And like sometimes it just like there's things on the record that aren't perfect, but it felt right. Like I recorded all the songs and then went back and as demos and then went back and re-recorded them, thinking like these are going to be the takes, and then they just felt like so bereft of like life. So the demo ones felt like a bit seedier pants, and there was like okay, there's like maybe like a little mistake here, or like things the fill isn't the same or whatever, but it felt like way more vital. So I used those takes and then yeah, I would just go up for hours and sit with headphones on and just kind of jam stuff out until I was like, okay, that sounds cool. And I've a friend who lent me. I don't have a good bass, but he lent me a lot of expensive bass equipment, so like I could go and now the bass sounds it's like on a Fender Precision instead of some like fucking rip off knockoff piece of shit. And and then it just meant like I had a lot of time to like dial in the guitars. Like I'm on no one's clock essentially. I'm not paying for studio time. I can like go up and spend 12 hours doing one song if I want, and I can put like 100 guitars on there if I want. So I kind of recorded all that and then done the vocals mostly in this room. There's a little window over here I like to record in front of. It's kind of like nice having the light come in and yeah, and then I gave it to AJ. He plays in a band from Dublin called Picture Postcard, and they're kind of like shoegaze emo-y kind of stuff. And like we go way back. Like I used to put his old band Full Veta on a bunch, and So he kind of gets the joke. I don't have to explain too much to him why I have 14 fuzz guitars on one side and another for, and he gets it. So it kind of meant like we already had like a bit of a shorthand, and I kind of gave him some like mix notes as to like I kind of would like this here and this here, but like it was mostly about feeling, and he brought his own talents to it and made it sound, just that kind of, well, how it sounds today. And like so it was cool. It was cool getting to work with him, like, because we do a lot of shows together, and it was cool having him kind of put his hands on it. And like this was like the largest piece of work that he'd worked on to date. Like he'd done some singles or whatever, and so he was pretty hyped about it. And then yeah, Dan Coutant in Sunroom Mastering, he mastered it. He like works with like Jay Robbins and like Jawbox and all these kind of guys. So I've been working with Dan for a long time on different projects, and he's like, man, he sends it and he goes, "Is this okay?" I'm just like, every time he just nails it. It's just like, of course, man, this is like perfect. So yeah, and then that was it. And then I done all the artwork, and kind of some of it's like live photography. I kind of like the idea that it, because it was, even though it's just me in a room, it felt very live. It don't feel like a sterile studio kind of thing. And like it, for me, like the whole thing is playing live in front of people. Like we're talking about going on tour and doing it in front of people. And then like the back cover is just a cover or a picture I took when I was recording in the practice room, and then I just took that on my phone, which is crazy now thinking about it. Now I just like, oh, that's the back cover of the record. It's fine. But yeah, so it was like it. The record is very personal because it's me. It is an extension of me. Like it's my tastes and it's how I think it should sound, and it's my songs and it's what I think it should look like. And I do the t-shirts and all that stuff. So it's like it's in a way like it succeeds or fails on my fucking merit, but then also it's hard not to take it somewhat personally if someone's like, "Yeah, it fucking sucks," which luckily hasn't happened yet, because it's like, it goes both ways. But yeah, so I try and keep it as much. I want it to feel personal as possible, and for it to be like, this is how I want it to be. This is the record. And obviously, like, there's like the lyrical content and all, because it's all from my perspective too, then that's another element to it. But yeah, so that's kind of how it all kind of came together. Yeah.
You really are a magician. You're a jack of all trades. I'm gonna have to start calling you Gandalf.
Oh man, jack of all trades, master of none though. Like do you know what it is? It's from coming from like a fucking, like a punk rock background, like grew up listening to Fugazi and Black Flag and all that. And like their whole thing was do it yourself. Like I run Old Crows Promotions so I can put on my own shows. I run Fever Dream Touring so I can book my own tours. So I never have to wait for someone to tap me on the shoulder and go, you're allowed to play now. I can just go and do those things. Like the tour we just went on, I booked that myself. I put on one of the shows. Like I own a van, I can go tour, I can record myself. So it's just, I just want the autonomy to be able to do the things that I want to be able to do and not have to rely on someone else's permission. Obviously, like I like working with promoters and different people, but like if I want to go do something, I can just go do it. And I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but it allows me, like, I've built up a skill set and the tools to be able to go do those things, because like why should anybody be in charge of that other than myself?
Absolutely. And like the nice thing is it makes your life easier and it makes others easier. Like if
Yeah,
others, if they want a show, they can just come to you and then you can make it happen.
absolutely, man. And like because Shoegaze like is a community, like I really view it as that. And I've made so many great friends and great connections. And like you were saying before, like you went on tour and you're still friends with all those people. And I know so many people now just from playing through lots of fuzz and reverb pedals essentially. And so like that, even like Gaze Fest, like I bring people over from the UK, and I'm bringing Resplendor over from Holland this year, like to help like bring that to here, and like I'll book tours for people, do art for people, all that kind of stuff. And like even like I said, Taylor from Sunstinger, he sings on Slide Away on the record. And like um I bring those guys over, and like they play with us when you go over there kind of stuff. And it's like, it's nice to be able to kind of go back and forth and all that thing. And like the community aspect of it to me is really, really important. It's something I really kind of like get a lot out of. Like when we went over to see my buddy Valentine in Glasgow and just bumped in, like we hadn't planned to meet up with a bunch of people, but I just bumped into all these Scottish people I know, and I'm like, that's just through fucking shoegaze, dude. I think that's cool. I think it's real cool.
I'm right there with you, man. I mean, I'm a really big into like community, and it's one of my favorite things. It's like as much as actually take that back, it's my favorite thing. The music's amazing and all that, but I'm at the point now where it's like more important for me to make homies, make mates with people that are like me, that are into pop punk, that are into shoegaze, that are into post rock, post hardcore or whatever. Like the
Yeah.
promoting and all that is nice and all that, and I get like great enjoyment out of that. But to me, it's more rewarding to like make friends with people that are like me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's like the stuff you do is reflective of that as well. But also like if the people weren't cool, then you wouldn't continue to do that because I know how intensive that is and like it's a lot of time and money and effort and all those kinds of things. So it's yeah, I think it speaks volumes about the kind of people like we're in a global scene with essentially.
Absolutely, right on. So, what would you say your favorite and least favorite thing is about the writing and recording process?
Uh, I'm still trying to figure out some of the recording stuff. So like at the minute, uh yeah, when it comes to do drums, because I don't like to drop in. So I like to do full takes. So if you fuck up, obviously that's annoying. The writing and recording on my own, like even though in other bands like it would have been like the kind of the driving force and like kind of have like the last say on decisions when it comes to just yourself, you have it can be easy to kind of get like lost in your own echo chamber and like there's no like sounding out against anyone else. You're just kind of like, well, I have to figure this out. And then I went through a little period around writing for the album, like, is this fucking good? Or is this what I want to say? And like, what's the voice of the band? And there's all I mean, I'm sure there's people ask themselves these in creative fields these questions all the time, but it's just kind of trying to focus on really where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to say it, all that kind of stuff. When it comes to recording, like this is the first time I've ever done everything myself. Whereas before I would have like had I guess people call them producers. They're really engineers most of the time. And somebody to go like, you could do better than that, or that's not in, that's a little off or a little quick. Sometimes I used to work with Johnny Woods a lot, and I enjoyed that kind of interaction. So it's like you're trying to be really creative by playing and dialing shit in, and then you also have to be like really harsh on yourself and be like, is that the best? So it's that can be somewhat difficult, but also it's like I enjoy those challenges, when you're kind of it is a wee bit schizophrenic in the practice room, the studio when you're recording because you're like jumping between like two sides of um your brain or whatever. So it's something I'm still learning. And like when it comes to recording now, we've done this. I'm like, okay, that's great. Like, how do I essentially Terminator 2 the next record? Like, how do you make it bigger and like how do I evolve? And so I've got some ideas as to like, drum sounds and all that kind of stuff. And so we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Feel like I would definitely struggle with like lyrics, and I would definitely struggle with like I just want this like hurry up and like be done so I get the final product out to the world.
Yeah. Well, I can work very like the Clementine. I wrote it on a Thursday, and by Monday I had it recorded, mixed, and mastered. Because I can work at pace, and because it is me, then I can just kind of work at, I guess, the speed of inspiration almost. So that is good. I would say like the main thing I struggle with recording wise is vocals, and I'm still becoming accustomed to that and like essentially learning like what my voice is and like how to sing and like playing to the strengths of that. And then I got really sick during the recording of vocals, so I couldn't do it. And I was just like, there was a deadline to have it with the label so that we could press the record, so it could all that kind of stuff. And then there was one night, and I got like three songs just back to back done, and I was like, right, I'm that's it, I'm finished, you know. But um, lyrics I don't aren't such a an issue. I think it's just trying to make sure I'm trying to be like more direct with this, whereas before it would have been like quite flowery and like a lot of metaphor, and I really enjoy words and language and stuff. So it's trying to keep it slightly more on the nose. Like it's not just like it's not I want to hold your hand by the Beatles or anything, but it's a bit more kind of pointed. I think it's a little easier to kind of pick out like what the songs are about and whatnot, you know.
You're a beast, just like churning them out like one another. I mean, I would have been like, I would have
Um,
like got through like one and then just be like, okay, like I'm done. I'm just gonna like go for a break and then come back later and do a finish up the second one. But you're just like you're on a mission. You were just like banging them out.
Dude, I was like, because my voice was okay and it was sounding good, I was like, I'm sticking to this, like I'm getting through this. And kept my wife was out for some reason, and I remember I was like finishing the third one, and she'd like message me to come pick her up, and I was like, yeah, just I'm nearly there, I'm nearly there, and like just like finished it up, and I was like, that's it, album's done, you know, and that was a good feeling. I was like, I'm in the clear now, you know, so I can yeah cough and be sick again. I kind of like need to strike when the iron's hot with that kind of stuff, you know, like but it's getting better and doing a lot of because a lot of these songs weren't played live before they were recorded, you know, and like now that we're playing live a lot now, I'm kind of getting used to my voice and like how it sounds and where to push and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a challenge, but it's cool to kind of. I was like watching. There's a guy from Belfast. He films just like all these shows from Belfast. He's called Robert Chappell, and it's cool. Like a year ago, he filmed the first show, and then he filmed our launch show before we went on tour there. And it's cool to see like how the band has like got better and like overall like stage play all the stuff. So it's cool to see that progression happen. So hopefully it continues to happen, and then eventually I might actually be able to sing at some stage.
It's really sick. I'm taking mental notes.
Oh, dude. Yeah, yeah.
So, who'd you say your biggest influences are?
Well, I mean, I'm wearing the Wear t-shirt. I like Wear are um definitely a huge influence on this. You know, that there's like a just a feeling I get from listening to them, and it's really hard to describe. But like I would say, like where Slow Crush, who are like really that Aurora record is the whole reason I started playing shoegaze, and I'm lucky enough that I've brought them over here and I've put them on and I got to play with them and kind of got friendly with them and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, they're just a great band that like have evolved and stayed true to their themselves and that sound and then nothing as well. We got to play with them in February here, and that was like, man, like I just like bucket list items, you know. I'm just like, holy shit. And like we went to see them in Glasgow a couple of years ago and got chatting to them beforehand, and they're like just lovely people, which makes, you know, like all the difference. And then obviously like Valentines are always an influence there, you know, and outside of the shoegazy kind of stuff, like guitar wise, there's a guy called Aaron North, and he was in this band called Icarus Line, like along there, like insane punk rock, just like, and there is a kind of gazy thing going on, but I just wasn't into it and didn't recognize it then. But there, he plays guitar like he hates it, you know, and they're great. They done this thing at South by Southwest. They were playing like the Hard Rock Cafe in Texas, and he smashed the case and took out a Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar and like tried to plug it in. And them Texans were not too happy about that, you know, and there was like a whole a whole thing. But yeah, I love how he plays guitar. And then like there's like so many like books and films like kind of inform all this as well. I think because I do all the visual aspect of it as well. I'm kind of everything's like a whole cohesive project to me. You know, when I look at it from all angles at all the time. So the likes of like Birds and Suicides and Blade Runner and Lost in Translation all kind of come into that and capturing that like woozy disconnection almost, and um but I was just listening to the new Velveteen record that came out. It's stunning, stunning stuff. And there's a band, Lemon Days. They're from England as well. We're actually playing with them in November. We're doing this like shoegaze all dayer thing in London. And they're playing, and like I hadn't even heard of them, and just picked the record up by like just because it was in the record shop, and now they're playing on the same bill as us. Those two records are really great. They're yeah, that Velveteen record is like it's just like the next My Bloody Valentine record. It's so good. Like the guitars on it are just perfect, man. Yeah, I'm hyped about that. I was literally listening to it right before it came on here. Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I literally just got into all those bands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I came across Lemon Days and Velveteen on Instagram, both of them on Instagram, and I'm like, these guys are sick.
Unbelievable. Yeah. There's an Italian shoegaze band called Leaves, Leavs. You should check out, man. And like their record came out last year sometime. And it's yeah, just class. Really, really good stuff.
Isn't it really interesting how I feel like shoegaze is like really blown up in Europe, but in the US it's like it's getting better, but I feel like it's still nowhere near like where it's meant to be, where it's supposed to be.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah, I
it's
mean I could be wrong, but that's the vibe that I get.
where do you live? Sorry, whereabouts are
So
you
I'm
from?
from New Jersey, originally from New Jersey, and now I live in Hershey, PA.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny, like, because obviously, like, I follow nothing, and Nikki does that slide away fest, and it's like those rooms are huge, man, and like I guess like it's always grass is always greener, but we look to like the States and be like, oh, like Heavy Gaze is really big there. Like there's a band called Velvet as well, and they like that record is unbelievable, and there's I think Tired Eyes are Australian, maybe, not sure actually. But yeah, it's just like we look there and see that like blowing up and like all these like bands who like are seemingly kind of like around our level are playing to like these big places, and like big crowds. And I guess like there's a population difference plays into that as well. But uh yeah, that's funny. It's like I mean certainly like we're going to go do shows in Europe in January, and we're really looking forward to that because I do think like it's better received there than it is necessarily in like the UK. Like I don't think it has like just certainly the heavier stuff. I think the kind of the dream poppy kind of stuff is bigger in England and the UK, but the heavier stuff doesn't quite translate just as well sometimes, and there's just not as much of it. Um, but yeah, we're looking forward to going to Europe in January. Like,
And how's the shoegaze scene in Belfast? Do you have a favorite local band, a favorite venue?
so it's I kind of look at it as like an Irish shoegaze scene, and that's kind of why I started doing Gaze Fest. Like this is in its fourth year now. So like the idea was to shine a light on like the shoegaze stuff from here. And I do it over two dates. There's like a Dublin date and there's a Belfast date. And the Belfast date is an all dayer. It's 14 plus, and like it's a really great day every year. It's the big day in the Old Crows promotions calendar. So the Irish shoegaze scene is great, and I do it in the Grand Social in Dublin and the OES Centre in Belfast. So there's like I'm trying to think who I have on the bill this year. I've got Sunstinger, I've got Derry. Obviously, they're from the UK. There's a band like Picture Postcard. They're from Dublin. They're great. There's a band called Affection to Rent. They're from Dublin. There's a band we played with at our album launch. Oh God, Maricat, and they were great, man. And there's a band called Skyless. They're also, I mean, like honestly, I could just sit and like list, but it's good. I obviously I kind of like preach the shoegaze stuff here. Like people are like, oh, he's the shoegaze dude or whatever. And like I'm fine with that. But it's cool, and there's like you kind of see it seep into like indie stuff, or like there's like the grungy kind of gazy stuff, and people kind of like are melding that more. So it's cool. And like whenever we go on tour, then we obviously get to play with like a bunch of bands in different cities, and you get to see like a lot of other cool bands and music there, and how it kind of like, because we don't want to. There's no point us playing with like a metal band, and so we try and like keep it so that at least they're fans of this band should be fans of us, or that kind of thing. So even if it's not like their primary kind of sound, it's in the mix there, and like there is like, I would say there is like an Irish shoegazy sound. Um, it just has this like, I can't even like uh describe it, but there's just like an Irishness to some of the bands here, and I think that makes like for a really unique kind of voice. It's like Philly shoegaze bands. It's like Were and Nothing. They have like, for whatever reason, maybe it like, from listening to interviews, Philly's not exactly like an easy place to live. So like, but they have like a sound, and there's like, the UK stuff has that dreamier kind of sound for whatever reason, and like the Irish stuff has just, there's like a thing to it, man. It's weird thinking about that actually.
I tell people like that's one of my favorite things about, Irish shoegaze, English shoegaze, English pop punk, Irish pop punk is the accents like in the
Yeah.
vocals. Like to me, it keeps things fresh, keeps things interesting. Like I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's cool, and I guess I can't help but some words being my accent. But if I tried to sing in this fucking thing, like, it would be awful. But like, there's some bands we play with, like, because I play in like a bunch of different bands. Like, we play with like pop punk bands and stuff. And there's a band here, from here, called No Matter, and like yeah. Have you heard of those guys?
Yeah, they're
I think,
sick.
like, I go way back with those ones, and like, they sing in their own accent, and I really like it. And then there's some other bands, like pop punk bands from here, and they sing and they're like, oh no, we sound like we're from California, and I think it's kind of, I think that's kind of bullshit, because it's like, you are where you're from, and like that, that matters, it matters. Otherwise, it feels like you're kind of pretending or something, I think it takes away from the authenticity of it.
Absolutely. I preach it all the time. Keep it real, stay true to who you are, and just block out the haters.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Rad. So now I'm going to ask you some non-music questions. It's a good way for me to get to know you as a person. I did this with the other bands. You ready to roll?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
All right. First one. Favorite holiday slash vacation? Because here we say vacation, over there you say holiday, so that's why I said that.
Yeah, yeah. So I got married a couple of years ago there, and we went to Bali for our honeymoon for like 2 weeks, and that has been like, that's top tier, man. We were in one part, and then moved down to Nusa Dua, and it was incredible. Like, I've never been anywhere like that. It's like a whole other culture. Like, you're walking down the street, and there's just like temples everywhere, and there's like little offerings everywhere, and it's just a whole other kind of style of life. So yeah, Bali was like an incredible experience, man.
That sounds really sick. And right now I'm just like picturing it in my mind, and I'm just like, I really like need to get there ASAP.
Honestly, I would encourage anyone to go. I found a record shop. I didn't find any shoegaze, but I found a record shop, And we're just like, we're walking along one night, and this guy was like, "Do you want to come to this fire dance thing?" And you go, and it's like an hour of just like all these characters, and there's so much tradition, and like all these stories, and how that's like wrapped up in their like religion and culture. But like, religion there feels very different than like religion might feel like here, So it just yeah, it's incredible place, and so cheap as well.
Well, you got me with the cheap.
Yeah, man,
You,
honest,
you
yeah,
got me with cheap.
cheap's good.
Cheap is good.
Yeah.
Would you rather have spaghetti for hair or always smell like garlic?
uh do I have a lot of spaghetti hair?
Yes.
I'll go spaghetti hair. Like, I could style that shit out, man, for sure.
You just gotta
Yeah,
slick it back, and then you're ready to roll.
man, I dreadlocked the spaghetti, so it was. Yeah, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, no, I can. picture myself with spaghetti hair. I think I would look like the Predator or something.
That'd be pretty sick, like having being able to like slick it back or have like spaghetti dreads. I mean, I personally wouldn't
Yeah.
want to smell like garlic, so I think I'm with you. I think I would rather have spaghetti for hair.
Spaghetti hair. Yeah, that was great.
So if you had $1 million and you could donate it to any charity, which one?
Uh, Cancer research, man. Yeah, what is it? It like kills 1 in 5 people or something, or 1 in 5 people get it. And it's like the two things that seem to kill my family are cancer and heart disease. So, yeah, cancer. It's the big one, right? You know.
Yeah, I lost my grandmother to it. I've lost other loved ones to it. So I definitely can relate to that. So I'm right there with you. I think I would go cancer as well.
Like people close to me have went through it, and like just watching it is fucking awful. So yeah, I wish I had $1 million to give to them now.
Well, maybe one of these days you'll just be walking down the street, going to a show or whatever, and then you'll find $1 million.
Find a briefcase, yeah, man, absolutely.
The kind of stuff that you see in movies.
Yeah, yeah. Do the lottery and just give it all away.
Right on. All right, last question. What are some places in Belfast that visitors should check out?
Uh, I mean, maybe this isn't the. So there's a record shop near me. It's a two-in-one shop. It's called Bread and Records. And funny enough, one side sells bread and the other side sells records. And those dudes they were or are in a band together that was on Sub Pop, which is really cool. They're called Swimming Tapes, but his record shop is incredible. And they also make really great like sweet treats and bread and shit. So it's called First Press, I should say. And there's also a bar near me. I don't know if I should be promoting alcohol usage, but it's called Bullhouse and it's fucking great. And I mean, like bar the normal like Titanic stuff or whatever, you know. And the OES Center as well. If you're into music, you know, they have a record shop in there, and there's always shows on there. I'm probably putting a show on there if somebody's here, and yeah, it's cool. The city center is a cool place, and there's lots of nice places to go eat and drink and hang out and stuff. You know.
You got me with records, beer, and
So
bread.
I swear, man, if you ever come to Belfast, I will show you a good time.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, that's how it was last summer when I went over there. And my homie Pat, shout out to Pat, he's the real MVP. He showed me and my homie Tyler a good time.
Yeah,
He
that
showed
I
us the Irish way.
yeah, it's a cool Belfast is a cool city. Sometimes it's hard to see that like looking out, you know. But it's a cool place to live, man. Yeah, it's nice, especially in the summer when it's fucking roasting.
Well, sign me up for that. I'm all about the heat, but
Yeah,
not to the
yeah,
point where it's just like it sucks the energy out of you and you just don't want to do anything.
yeah. No, that's why you go to Bill House, you see, then you can drink and eat pizza and it keeps the energy up.
Hydrate.
Yeah, hydrate. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Well, Mike, I really appreciate you coming on, and the support means the world to me.
Nope, no, thank you so much for having me, and your support means the world to me, man. And like all the stuff that you do for like shoegaze scene, and like I mean, I found a bunch of bands through yourself as well, and like I really appreciate all the kind things you've said about the record, and for taking time to organize this and letting me come on and talk about the art. So I appreciate it, man.
Of course, I live to serve and serve to live. So for the people that are going to watch this, they're going to listen to it later. Where can they find your music at?
Yep. So we're at Silk Band on Instagram. There's all underscores, which is really annoying. Or we're silkband.bandcamp.com, and you can buy records and t-shirts. And we're on all this normal streaming services or whatever. And yeah, we're doing a bunch of shows. Like we're doing Gaze Fest in Belfast and Dublin at the end of August, and we'll be in London November 6th and 7th for the All Dayer, and then we'll be in Europe next January, and we'll have like more shows in between all that, and So if anyone's listening out there and there's any of those places, please come out and see us and come say hi and or go grab a record and yeah, I send them out myself. Happy to sign stuff, all that jazz. So yeah,
Do what the man says. Go to the websites, buy a CD, buy a vinyl, buy a shirt, go to one of his shows, support local music. Mike, you're absolutely killing it. Keep up the sick work.
cheers, man. Thank you so much.
Of course, I hope you have a great day. Peace.